Let me adjust this. Do you guys like this, or do you want me to go a little bit different here? I don't know. It could go either way. We are actually doing our first, I don't know how you even call it, the phone version of live streaming. Definitely new on my end. I also need to get my charger. That may be a little bit necessary. There we go. Just adding more weight onto my phone. Anyway, you guys like this or not? Yeah. Welcome to a live stream that I have not done in a very long time. Guys, I'm so excited right now. It may not look like it, but it's Titanic. You know, I love Titanic. Of course, this right here is not a Lego version. If you haven't read the description, feel free to. My biggest dream is to make the largest Lego Titanic ever. I think it's very, very doable and very, very possible. Let me adjust the camera position. When I was doing this earlier, I thought this would be a good position, but it's not really the best, I guess. That. Odds are I'll probably screw it up. You all know me. All right. Hopefully, well, yeah, a little bit more. Sorry, I haven't done a live stream in a long time. And if you haven't told, if you can't tell, I moved. So things are a lot different here. All right. Now I like this. I like it. All right. So, welcome the entertainment guy, 1997. Ancraft is in the chat. Witty Cactus. My cat really wants in this room, really bad. Hey, do you think Titanic would have survived the iceberg collision if her watertight doors went all the way to the higher decks? Most definitely. Let me rephrase that. Okay, so again, this is not Lego. I don't have near the amount of money to even get the Lego one right now, but I think this is a really good one to kind of use as an example for the time being. So Titanic hits iceberg. It's 11:40 at night roughly. Titanic is in the middle of the ocean. She has hit the iceberg. Holes are punctured all around here. So pretty much all the way up to the first smokestack. She's got water coming in all of them. While the holes are not big, they are still putting water through. The watertight doors are shut. Titanic would still, I think Titanic would still sink with watertight doors all the way up to B deck or A deck. I only say that because, okay, so you have you would have the forward peak watertight door or watertight bunker. This is the very first watertight door. There was reports of hissing going on it because water was coming through at a very rapid rate. But it only could fill up for so much, like this much of it underneath here, because it was designed to already hold water in it and already have water in it. So all I had to do was just fill up a little bit with water and call it good. It couldn't fill up anymore. Meanwhile, the second compartment, if that was all the way filled, Titanic's fine. Third one, Titanic's still fine. Fourth one, Titanic is definitely having an issue, but it's still fine. The issue where Titanic sunk, this is where everyone got to remember. It is ultimately not the first four compartments that Titanic sunk. In fact, Titanic was still going to float. Everyone's like, well, Titanic's going to float and there's nothing wrong with her. I mean, theoretically, they were right, technically. But it was that last compartment that ultimately doomed her. I believe it was boiler room number 5. Boiler room number 5 got compartment damage in its coal bunker area, which ultimately led to a major issue, causing the water to go through the actual coal bunker. And the coal bunkers aren't designed to be waterproof or water, like they're not designed to hold water back. So if you get what I'm saying by that. So yeah, Titanic would definitely still sink, I think, because she would have 5 compartments full. Okay, well, actually, let me rephrase this. Titanic would probably not sink, but she is not going anywhere. That would be my actual assumption. Titanic would definitely not be going anywhere. She would be stuck where she is at until help arrives. And she would probably have to have someone tow her in. I say this because, or she's going to have to go at very low speeds. Because, okay, let's look at Titanic here. We have Titanic, let me go out a little bit so you guys get a full picture here. Titanic at this point would probably be about this, it's kind of hard to show on camera, like this angle. Because of how much water she has in her right now. The issue is Titanic wouldn't be able to go at a far distance, at least, across the ocean at an angle like this, where her bow, the water is up to here probably. So her water is almost up to the bow. You don't want that on the ship. That's not a good sign. So if you guys get what I'm saying on that. I mainly meant the compartments went higher up. Yeah, so the compartments, even if the compartments are higher up, you're still going to have issues no matter what. Just something I wonder if the compartments went higher up than they did if she would have survived the iceberg. Again, she's going to survive, but she's definitely going to need help to tow her in. She's not going to be able to go far. Now, by the time it took on the lower area, it would be pretty, well, I mean, in a way, Aircraft. Again, I think Titanic would have survived, but it would have been a very big issue inside her actual compartment. She would have an issue going on there. That's the reason why I feel that iceberg doomed her, because the main reason why she sank. Well, yeah, it's ultimately because of all the issues that she had inside her actual compartment. All right. Again, welcome to this live stream. I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. It has been, around 3 months since I last live streamed. The last live stream I've done was at Brick Road, Chicago. A long time ago. But I have a lot of plans. I got a lot of plans. A lot of cool ones too. And I have a lot of space for it. In fact, I have so much that I have an entire room full pretty much. Let's see here. Let me adjust some things here quick. There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this to be exactly how I wanted it. I didn't have a lot of time to test before I started this thing. Oops. All right. I like this a lot better than what we had, because you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. All right. So By the way, I have seen the newest photos of the wreck where the front of the railing fell. Yeah, the front of the railing. Yeah, this part right here is pretty much. That's kind of hard to show you guys. Again, this is not a real Titanic model. This is something will be built though eventually and very, very soon. I'm actually going to be starting that. All right, what I want to talk about though, the main importance of the stream. I really want you guys, one, to just throw off Titanic questions, anything related to Titanic, any questions you have for me on this build that I'm going to be doing soon. It's going to be a slow but very interesting speed that I'm going to be doing it at. So it'll be slow in a way to start it off, but I think once I get it starting to pick up, it'll definitely pick up a lot faster and you'll get a lot more speed. And you'll see a lot more progression in it and a lot more just amazement and I won't say not the beauty of myself working on the ship, because it's not really me who designed the ship. I think it's mainly the passion that I have for Titanic and every one of you guys that have passion for Titanic. That is mainly what I'm doing it for. Because there's spots in Titanic that just no one knows about. Like the squash court. No one talks about it. It's one of my favorite rooms in Titanic. Why? Because while yes, it is similar to like a tennis court, by far on a ship of her day, it is not something that every ship had. It still amazes me that people don't talk about a lot of this stuff. I love it. One of my favorite rooms still. And to get to the squash court in itself was a very interesting topic, or an interesting way to get into it. Because Titanic had several flights of stairs that you have to get to. I want to say that's Francella Julie. Am I pronouncing your name right? Welcome to the stream. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah. Morning, evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are at. So, what's going to happen though? When I start this build, it is going to be on a blank table, like normal, obviously like any other build. It's quickly going to gain a massive amount of space. So what I have planned, and I hope you guys kind of understand what I mean by this. So kind of just going out, if I can show you guys, pretend my entire table is here. What's gonna happen is, Titanic is great, but I am not gonna build Titanic first. And you guys are all probably gonna be like, what? No, I think we should start from the very part of history itself. The most basic, the part that started Titanic out of all. And that, of course, is being the actual harbor area, the area that Titanic was built and framed and put together. So basically, I mean, we're gonna have the entire area that Titanic was built first, which I already have gotten a lot of the pieces for already, actually. So that is gonna be the first thing. Then, followed by that, by Brick Road Chicago 2025. Anyone's going, I highly recommend it because you will be able to see this there. Titanic will not be built, but the entire court area hopefully should be built. Followed by the structure. So the entire skeleton of the ship should be built and put together. That'll be another year. So we have about 2 years here now. And then to finish Titanic off will be the third year. This is my goal. And the third year will be making sure all the floors are all level, or all equal. All the furniture will be put in Titanic, basically. All of the details, minifigures will be put into it. Everything will be finished off that final third year. Why the third year? It took Titanic about 3 years to build. That's exactly why I wanted to do 3 years for this project. Isn't the squash court on the wreck unable to be reached? Yes, the squash court is still one of the only rooms, well, not only, it's definitely a lot more rooms you can't see. No one has found the squash court. The issue with the squash court is you have to go down to, oh man, you really got me thinking right now. I think it's D deck. And then you got to go through you have to go to the mailroom area. So actually, it's not even D deck. You have to go all the way down to like F. I want to get down through, I think it's D deck. But then you have to go down the flights of stairs through the mailroom area, or around the mailroom area. There will be a stairwell that would lead down to the squash court. But again, in order to even do it, there's only one stairway up and one stairway down. There's only one access point to it. That's the only way you can go from there. I would laugh historically if you started spinning your chair. Yeah, not gonna happen. I just finished watching Titanic. All right. So, again, describing exactly what I want to do here. So, the harbor that built Titanic, the entire framework around Titanic, I want to build first. Then we're going to follow that by the structure of Titanic. So the exterior, everything that you see right here will be built next. And then everything inside, the interior, will be built after that. Now, I want to take a pause though on that though. The reason why I say that is I don't want to rush this build. I by far do not want to rush this build, because not only is this representing Titanic in my opinion, I also have Titanic Honor and Glory blueprints. So whoever follows Titanic Honor and Glory, for one, highly recommend you do. It is what made this stream actually possible. If you look at my thumbnail, that is from Titanic Honor and Glory. Why do I use Titanic Honor and Glory thumbnails to throw into mine? It might seem like a cheating moment there, but I use their thumbnails to capture and show you guys not only the beauty of Titanic and Honor and Glory, who actually made this possible. So again, go actually check their channel out, because they are doing incredible work on building the Titanic in I won't say a video game, but on the computer, where you can actually go on Titanic. And I actually have a couple live streams that are for that. But really what they have done is they have a website that also has the blueprints of Titanic. And I have bought those blueprints myself to build this ship out of Lego. While, yes, the maps don't tell me where every piece is going to be going, it's going to show me every room. And that's exactly what I need. I need to have every room exactly how Titanic was. And that'll never happen, because we don't know exactly how Titanic was completely. Because, well, unfortunately, their blueprints are no longer available. I don't know anything about Titanic. I'm just here because Zoner's cool. Oh, thank you, Handcraft. Also, I have noticed that the roof in the Marconi room is showing signs that it's going to collapse soon. Yes, that is definitely true as well. I wish I could use my model, but my model is kind of garbage when it comes to that. Not gonna lie. Yeah, so on top of the Marconi room, you will see that the roof is actually caving in and stuff. They were talking about trying to get the actual wireless stuff out there. Here's my thing on that. It's gonna involve a lot of work to get that out. Depending on what they are trying to get out. If they're trying to get the headsets and all of that stuff from the actual interior, like the radio area, it's going to be pushed in the room, because the Marconi room wasn't just one room. People got to understand that. There was the Marconi room, and then over on this side, the right, left side, whatever you want to say, was the beds, and then for the actual wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride. And then on the other side was actually all the machinery. And for the longest time, I didn't know that existed. Um, of course, I knew it for a couple of years now. But for the longest time, I didn't know that existed. But that machinery is exactly what saved Titanic. Without any of that machinery there, Titanic definitely would not have saved as much people as it had saved. Because that is really what was Titanic's heart. It made those signals go out and um, reach other ships for SOS and CQDs. Without those, without the machinery in that side of Titanic's Marconi room, Titanic wouldn't have saved, if any, because it wouldn't have been able to send anything out. So, especially since the day before, Titanic's wireless system was destroyed somehow. It didn't, want to cooperate or work, which also had issues. Hey, I didn't say that you should have I didn't say that you should have. It just said if I, Marconi. Yeah, not macaroni, like I thought for the longest time as well. It's Marconi. Different thing there. I've been the big Titanic nerd since I was a child. It's because of the 1997 film, how I become fascinated on it. You know, okay, honestly, interesting though, because my first film was actually The Night to Remember. It was not Titanic, the movie from 1997. It was actually Night to Remember. And I remember that clearly because the first one was the black and white movie that I watched, which was Night to Remember. And I thought it was really fascinating because it had a lot of moments that weren't like Titanic, the color version in 1997. There wasn't romance. It was all serious. And I loved that. I love the seriousness because you got to understand that Titanic wasn't something, oh, we hit an iceberg. We are all good. No. Titanic was not that way. None of the people, not even the captain, not even the first officer were like, oh, well, we hit an iceberg. We are good. No. We hit an iceberg. We have an issue. That was the issue that they had faced that night. It wasn't, oh, life is great. How much do I know about Titanic? Okay. So I started studying Titanic or looking into Titanic around 7. So I have been fascinated looking at Titanic, researching Titanic, any information on that for about 12 years now. So yeah, I have been a pretty good long time. Must be good at building then. But anyway, so I guess my point onto this is, what rooms would you guys be really interested in actually seeing? And what's something that you guys would actually want me to see build? Because to build this stuff in Lego is going to involve a lot of things. First, I'm going to be using some custom parts, so the entire thing will pretty much be Lego, but I will be having to use some custom pieces that Lego cannot make. Like, for example, let me see if I can get you a picture of it pulled up here. Around the columns of Titanic's grand staircase, or just its staircase in general, there was a lot of like artwork, Victorian style, Louis the 14th, Louis the something. There's too much Louises, too much King Louises. There was these poles, the wooden poles, the oak wooden poles. Anyway, around that, there's no physical thing that I can use to put there for Titanic. So in turn, I'm going to have to brick build it, and I'm going to have to use special pieces and equipment to get to those pieces and form them, because I want to capture all of Titanic's memories. I want to capture all of Titanic's gloriness, all of Titanic's artwork, because Titanic is, again, more than just a ship. It's a beautiful ship. It's a luxurious ship of 1912, representing the entire world, not just Britain. The entire world was amazed about this ship. No one thought that a ship this size could be even built. I'm still, you know, an 800-foot long ship is still incredible today. It wasn't 800, it was 872 to be exact, actually, around that point. Roughly around that. Depending on how you want to do it, because I mean the propellers and all that stuff were on it as well. So when I mean 872, I mean it has a lot of calculations in it. So let's see here if I can show you this here. I want to show you guys kind of what I'm talking about here. But it wouldn't, I guess, be exactly 872. It'd be more like 882, I think, and something inches. If you want to go perfectly exactly like that, I meant 882, not 872. I don't know why I said that. But like here, by the way, good night, Ancraft. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you for stopping by. So right here, I have the image of what I was kind of talking about. Maybe. Anyway, on these, there's these little beams that are kind of in the back. Well, each of those wooden beams are going to be very difficult to build in Lego because Lego, of course, doesn't make them. So you're having to use pieces yourself and custom pieces in order to build this. So that'll definitely be a challenge because it's not something that's commonly worked on by Lego. But don't worry about that, because what'll be very cool is I'm going to see if some other people are going to be able to help me out with doing this and helping me out building this. Let's see here. I also know that the main mast is almost gone. Apparently it was seen laying in the well deck. Yeah, that mast is pretty much gone at this point. I can't imagine that's going to last much longer. Honestly, with the pressure that Titanic's bow's at right now, I couldn't even tell you how much longer the bow will last. I would give it about 10 years and it's probably going to collapse. I'm not saying it's going to be gone, but it's definitely probably going to either collapse or most of the decks are going to kind of cave in on itself. And I think the first deck that'll probably give in are the bottom ones, just on the structure that they have been slammed into the sea. It's definitely going to be the first decks that are probably going to give in to the weight of Titanic still, because you got to understand, Titanic's at the bottom of the ocean doesn't mean that Titanic doesn't have weight on her still. She still has a lot of weight, and all of that weight is still on the top. It's still going to destroy the bottom, because you got to understand the metal on the bottom is also weakening up. It's getting weaker, so it needs the ability to stay or not buckle, because if it buckles, it's definitely going to collapse on itself. But there's no honest telling on how long Titanic will have left. I couldn't tell you, no one could else tell you. They said it was going to be 50 years, they say that, and then now they've went against it, and they don't think it'll be 50 years, they think it'll be longer. We don't know. Honestly, Titanic's made it over 100 and something years down on the ground right now on the ocean floor, and it's still, I won't say in the best of shape, but it's definitely in still pretty good shape. I mean, obviously it's not in good shape, but it's for being on the bottom of the ocean like that, it's definitely in a good situation in a way. Still, it could be worse. Titanic could be, for all we know, just a pile of scraps at the bottom of the ocean, but it's not. And why are we gonna head out and go listen to music and then head to sleep because I gotta go drive in the morning. Oh, that sounds like fun there, and Craft. Well, you have one for us of your night again. Yeah, it's crazy how much the ship has decayed. Honestly, they say that the ship is decayed a lot, but while yes, that is true, you gotta understand Titanic is not in full pieces anymore. Titanic, it's almost like this right now. You have Titanic's front part, like the smokestack, or like I would say like right before the, or right after the first, forward. This stuff right here doesn't exist anymore. It's like all just scrap. Who knows where all this is at? It could be under the sand. It could be, it's all over the place. It's a debris field. Um, with the tide and the ocean's current, I would beg to guess that a lot of it's probably under the sand as well now at this point. And then the remainder half, like this part right here, is really bad because the stern itself is just damaged so bad. Like it's not even the bow and the stern in itself is just horribly gone wrong during the entire sinking moment. So yeah, definitely something that's not going to come back anytime soon. But I definitely have a lot of pieces and stuff to get this project started. And I cannot wait to show you guys because it's definitely going to be a fun thing. I'd say the bow is still in better condition than the stern section. Oh, of course. Hands down, definitely. The question is I say the question really though is, can we still get to any of the other rooms? Because we definitely can't get to the squash room. We ain't gonna be able to get to the mail room. It's just too far down and too far in. The watertight door is blocking the Titanic pool, so we can't get into the pool, which really sucks because that's kind of sad to see, or kind of sad to not see, you know, anymore. I really am curious on what the pool looks like right now. Yeah, so we can't get into there. We're very limited on what parts we can get into once you get down into the bottom part of the bow. Anything down below here, it's almost going to be impossible to get to. Even if Titanic's top decays and goes, there's no way to see this part because it's all going to collapse on top of each other. So we're never going to be able to see the interior of Titanic's squash court, of the mailroom, or the pool. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. Titanic's going to collapse before that's going to even happen. Now, I'm not going to say that it's guaranteeable, but it's definitely on my side of what's probably going to happen. If you were traveling on the Titanic, what would your mood be like? Interesting question. I'd be quite happy because I'm on the largest ship. I'm on the biggest ship in the world. I'm traveling on the largest ship, no matter what class, first, second, or third. I'm on the largest ship in the world. I would feel happy because, you know, who wouldn't take pride or who wouldn't be happy that, oh, well, I'm on the largest ship in the world and it's the most luxurious ship. Maybe not the fastest, but it is by far the most luxurious ship on the ocean. And who wouldn't take pride or who wouldn't be happy in that? I would. I don't know about anyone else. Wonder if it would be possible to bring the propellers up. So the propellers are probably not going to come up either. Those propellers are 22, I think 22 tons is what we actually calculated them out to be. And then I think the middle one is like 13 or something tons, 13, 15, something like that. I guess my point is though, 22 ton, that's 44,000 pounds of steel, bronze, whatever. It's still gonna equal out the same in this. 44,000 pounds is a lot of pounds if you're in America. I don't know the conversion to British or whatever else, but I know for America, 44,000 pounds is a lot of steel. I also love the fact that people thought that Titanic's propeller fell off somehow while they were in the middle of the ocean when they hit the iceberg. Who thought of the Titanic's propeller breaking off? I'd love to know that myself, because Titanic's propeller broke off, you would definitely be, you wouldn't have the ship evacuated. At least I wouldn't think you would. Why would you evacuate a ship that's still perfectly fine, just lost its propeller, and you can still go with two propellers. The main propeller is for full speed. So the middle propeller will not operate until Titanic has got excess steam and stuff going through the turbines. So that's after the engines, for those who don't know. And then you still have the other side of the propeller. You can still use that propeller. So it would be a little bit difficult, but you could still manage to be able to go without a propeller. I guess my point for that would be. Interior work, though. So how I'm going to do the interior actually is going to be quite interesting. So we're going to go it's going to sound a little confusing the way I'm going to do it, because I'm not going to go from side down. What I really want to do is actually start from the actual top, because that's where almost all the main stuff is. We're going to go from the top to the bottom. So the last things that'll pretty much be complete are the engines. Well, that's not true, because I won't put the details and stuff in until after. Whose fault is it the Titanic sinks? Oh. Honestly, I can't give a fault for whose fault it was, because it wasn't Captain Smith's fault. Captain Smith wasn't on the deck, so it wasn't Captain Smith, really. It definitely is not J. Bruce Ismay. Everyone needs to stop making him the villain, because he's definitely not the villain. He didn't have the authority that people think he does. Well, yes, he owns White Star Line. He definitely did not have the power to do whatever he wanted to. He was just a first-class passenger. Yes, he had a little bit more knowledge than most first-class passengers by far, but he definitely did not have any say really in anything. And then William Murdoch, who was at the scene when Titanic hit the iceberg, honestly, he did everything he could do to save Titanic. There was nothing he could have done to prevent this iceberg, because if he took the Titanic into the iceberg on a head-on collision, that means if Titanic's front hit the iceberg, hundreds of people would have still died, because all the firemen people are up here. You have a couple passengers that are located over in this area, so you probably would have killed a couple of them. Yeah, there would have been massive amounts of injuries and issues inside Titanic structurally. Yeah, it wouldn't have been good. So that's why he actually turned. Turning the ship, though, didn't help him out either, because obviously Titanic hit the iceberg. So he had no ability to do anything. So I can't blame it on William Murdoch. Ultimately, you really can't blame the incident on anyone, really. It was just something that just, out of sheer luck, happened, in a way. Out of the middle of nowhere, just kind of happened. I personally am not going to blame it on anyone, because Titanic wasn't designed to hit an iceberg. It really was not. Especially the way that Titanic hit the iceberg. No one builds a ship and then expects the ship's going to be able to go into an iceberg and be able to survive of her day. There was just not the equipment to be able to realize that, oh, well, I think in a couple of years a ship is going to hit an iceberg and it's going to sink. No one thinks of that, because icebergs really weren't commonly hit back then. And if they weren't really big icebergs, I can tell you that. I believe we would have a lot more Titanic incidents. Because I know that Oh, because I know that there is no raising that ship. Well, yeah, plain and simple. If you're going to raise Titanic, we have an issue going on because you're going to cause a lot of issues. Titanic's not going to be going up anywhere. What I think would be cool is if they could build something underwater. Obviously, it's ahead of human research right now. If they can build something underwater and then pressurize it somehow and then have just a museum underwater for Titanic. Oh, I'd love that. That'd be kind of cool. But there ain't no way that would ever happen. And Titanic is also over 2 miles under the water and has over. It's just too much pressure. There'd be no way to even put something around Titanic to even actually make it look like an underwater museum or something. Yeah, there'd be just no way. My opinion, the thing that would have saved Titanic is if they delayed the voyage to May 1912. Obviously, May 1912 would have definitely had an impact on Titanic. She would have definitely most likely floated through the entire voyage and wouldn't have had any issues. Oh, I will be building Britannic along with Titanic. So not only will Titanic be built as well in Lego, her sister ship will be built on the other side of her. And potentially Olympic as well. All three of them, the sister trio, will be built. And I plan on building a ton of more ships as well. Because I love ships. And I get very addicted to ships. Because they are amazing. And it's something that in life I just have a passion for. I think you are Jack reincarnated. Yeah, no, not even close. I couldn't be Jack. I couldn't be that close. I won't look as good as Jack. Let's see here. So yeah, I haven't been able to get my mouse to work at all. I don't know why. I want to show you guys more things, but it's kind of hard to show you anymore because there's just nothing I can do for that. It just amazes me that the stern of the ship is so unrecognizable. Well, it's not definitely unrecognizable. What is interesting though is the way Titanic broke in half. Because I can tell you right now, if Titanic broke in half, or not broke in half, but the engines themselves, if Titanic broke after the engine room went down with the bow, Titanic in itself would definitely be in a better situation right now today. Because the engine rooms would bring Titanic down. Okay, we're good now. Well, now the stern doesn't have to have that heavy Titanic engine sitting at the end of Titanic. Like if the engine room, if this part of Titanic right here forward just stayed, Titanic probably would have floated. But those engines are what Titanic sunk. That's the whole reason why Titanic sunk. So if somehow like they could prevent Titanic's engine room from flooding, like I don't know how that would even happen, or like to where it would flood, and then there would have been no way. But if Titanic broke there, it'd be better. It'd have been way better. Because Titanic's stern would have probably floated. The reason why Titanic's stern didn't float was the engines were pulling them down. People will disagree with me on that one probably. But the watertight doors would have definitely held the water back high enough after the engine rooms went down with the stern. Or the bow, if they could have. Would they have? Probably not. Could they have? Most definitely. Yeah, I definitely believe that Titanic probably would have stayed afloat. To what they would do with the Titanic stern, I don't know. I mean, that'd been interesting to see. I do know that the stern imploded on its way to the bottom. I know, yeah. But definitely the stern wouldn't have imploded if it could survive. If it somehow could sustain itself to be on the water. I do know that the stern would eventually sink. It'd probably sink in about a day or two. The reason why I say that is there's definitely just too much damage to Titanic. Too much structure damage. Titanic's watertight doors are not designed to hold that much water back without leaking. And there's no pumps. So with no pumps to pump the water out, with water still coming in, Titanic is gonna still eventually, the stern will sink too. Unless somehow someone figures out a genius way to run Titanic without electricity. That is near impossible because there's no oil arms back that far. So Titanic wouldn't have been able to float with those. By no means. I'm very interested to know about Titanic. Oh yeah, Titanic's just a very intriguable ship. My question though for you guys, I guess, what room would you want to talk about if we could talk about any room right now? At least with the bow, you can still tell the Titanic wore as a stern. It's harder to tell. Oh yeah, most definitely. But I guess my question is there any like room that Titanic or anyone would be interested, I guess, in like discussing? Because I love talking about Titanic and I love to give information that I know or research or just things that I think are kind of important to show or tell you guys all about. And what I want to be doing in this ship. Because while everyone else is off creating video games and games for these ships, not even games, just digital copies of Titanic, I want to be able to create something that's in real life and show people the actual ship in real life. That's what I want to do. That's my passion. Yeah. Hey, what do you think happened to Titanic's first class lounge? Interesting thing. So, the lounge, for those who don't know, let me look. I know where the lounge is at. I want people to be aware. I think that it's important to show that you guys exactly what Titanic's lounge looked like. Because Titanic is also, it's more than just a one room thing. It's more than just that. Let's see here. So for those who don't know, the lounge would have been something like this. And it's really hard to show you guys, but it would have been like something like this. And it would have been located very close to, it would have been very, very close to the grand staircase. So, or the aft grand staircase is what I meant, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. I can't say it any better than that. Like, I really can't. It doesn't. It does not exist. There's no way for it to exist. It imploded on itself pretty much. It destroyed itself. That's it. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, I don't know how to go into more depth about that, I guess. It's just something that it just doesn't exist. There are many mysteries in the ship. Yeah, and the lounge is one of them. Because something that I'm intrigued about is how far would it take Titanic to actually, for the integrity of the lounge to actually give away. We see these pictures of Titanic splitting or bending or preparing to break, where it is giving up. It cannot support itself anymore. The stern is giving itself away to the bow. The bow is too heavy, has too much water in it. The stern cannot support itself anymore. We see these pictures. We see the movies. We see the videos. We see it all. We see the lounge as one of those rooms that is in the bending point. One of the most beautiful rooms on Titanic, the lounge. It's just being torn apart. The reason why I think the lounge will no longer be, well, it exists. It does not exist anymore. I I really do. The lounge right now, if it did exist, would definitely be almost deteriorated at this point, probably. Only because there's just the room in itself, I wouldn't say was really designed for water. So even if this room was around today, it definitely wouldn't look good at all. It would be very, very bad shape, like unbelievable amount of bad shape. Um, the ship in itself doesn't look like it's in the best shape right now today anyway. That's just my opinion though. I know the diving room or the dining room somewhat exists. What remains of it? Somewhat. Because the dining room in itself, are you talking about the first class dining room, if I may ask? Because there was second and third. Um, and obviously, um, I want to say it's third. I don't think third exists anymore. There's no way to get the third class dining room at all. Because third class would have been wrecked up and destroyed. As for second class, I sincerely doubt that it exists either too. Or it's just too far down in Titanic to even get to. I pretty much sincerely think that it would be too far down to even get to that. Um, as for the first, yeah, I think a little bit of it does exist. Yeah, I'm talking about the one on D deck. Yep. So that would, yeah, of course, yeah, then that would be first class. Yeah, because D deck in itself still exists. Um, by the way, D deck is my favorite deck in Titanic. Uh, the beautiful, beautiful amounts of stuff on Titanic. I mean, it had like piano. Could you imagine being in 1912, just sailing across the ocean on D deck in one of the best areas in Titanic? And don't even get me started on the light. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with that. The chandelier the Titanic had for that. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. But anyway, yeah, could you imagine just playing the piano on Titanic on D deck? Holy smokes, that'd be amazing. Oh, I'd love that. Tell us what you know about the Titanic. I mean, there's plenty of things and information to tell you about Titanic. It never ends. Information will never end. I still remember watching the deleted scene of the 1997 film with Jack versus Lovejoy in the D deck. For some odd reason, I don't think I've watched that part. I don't know why, but I don't remember watching that. I feel like I should know this, but I don't know this. I don't know why, but I should know this. I'm definitely putting that on the bucket list of seeing. If my mouse and my computer will not work, it's been all over the place. I don't think it's gonna work. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. I haven't looked into that or even watched anything like that. So that's interesting in itself. I like that idea. That'd be a cool thing to actually go and look into. Because that was an interesting scene on Titanic, the movie. The Jack and Rose versus D deck in itself. That's what I like to say. Those two just fighting it out. And you would think, okay, I know it's just a movie, but this is me personally. The ship is sinking. Why the heck would you be fighting over something? You have like an hour to live. I personally would just forget about the entire situation. I'd rather live than not live. I don't care if you're someone I don't like or not. I'd rather for them to live than die. That's just me, at least. So I love how they were just fighting away, and the ship is just flooding with water on D deck. It made no sense to me, in my opinion, to why you would be like fighting all out with no like valid reason with a ship sinking. And in my opinion, like, yeah, you're fighting it out because obviously there's a reason to it, but I don't think there's a reason that way to fight. Like, that's just me personally. It was a deleted scene where they were fighting as the room is slowly flooding. Yeah, I mean, still, going back onto that though, why would you fight when the ship is sinking? I don't like that part though. That part just drove me crazy. You're walking through all this water, you're running through this water, whatever you're doing, and you just know Titanic is sinking and flooding, and yet you're just worried, or not worried, you want your girlfriend pretty much back, if your fiance, whatever you want to say. And you're focused on that over the Titanic flooding and sinking. Like, I find that just absolutely stupid in a way. I definitely wouldn't have done that. I mean, that's just me. But it's just a movie, and movies are movies. I love watching movies. I just find them weird. But who knows? We'll never know with movies like that. Let's see here. So, I guess another thing would be actually, oh, by the way, I always like, I mean, this is the lounge. This is the first class lounge. This is the room that we were talking about. It's definitely hard to show you, if I could even show you. I don't like doing this. But the lounge, you can see, if you look up a computer, I highly recommend, if you haven't looked up already, type in Titanic First Class Lounge sinking. You'll get a couple pictures of Titanic First Class Lounge, of course. And you'll see that Titanic in its way, it's splitting. It's not, it's sad to see all the hard work that was put into Titanic to even just break apart. And it was broke apart like it was nothing. It really was. Because Titanic's First Class Lounge was definitely not designed to be under that much pressure. Wasn't designed to be anywhere close to the design that Titanic's engine rooms were built for. Even though that was ripped apart, like, it didn't take long for Titanic to get that ripped apart either. I mean, nothing takes long for anything in the ship to sink. Yeah, but I love D-Deck. Very beautiful area in my opinion. Hands down, again, going back on that, D-Deck is the best deck on Titanic. Don't know what your guys' all opinions on that are, but actually, for those who are in the chat right now, comment below what your favorite deck on Titanic is. I really am intrigued. I want to know what your guys' favorite deck, not the most beautiful, but what your favorite deck is. It could be the Grand Staircase, boat deck, whatever, or it could be just the most simplest deck, like, my opinion, C deck. C deck doesn't have a lot, but maybe someone likes C deck. That's not my decision. That's your guys' decision. I'm just intrigued. I really want to know what your guys' favorite decks are, because hands down, mine's gonna be D deck. I love D deck. I think that the artwork, the carpet, the stairwell, everything on D deck has been just absolutely beautiful. How do you feel about C deck where the purser's office was? Oh yeah. The thing with C deck though is there was nothing on C deck. The purser's office was there, but the reason why they put the purser's office there because there was nothing on C deck again. Like obviously they had to put something there, so they were like, oh well, let's put the purser's office there because that would fit the best. And it worked. But I just love how they're like, well, this definitely needs something here, so we'll put something here, and this is what we'll put here. So I love that they had a valid reason to put things where they needed to put it. But yeah, so those who do, or those who are here though, put in the comments though, what's your favorite favorite floor, favorite level, favorite deck on Titanic, because I'm very, very intrigued to see what you all come up with, or what you all are intrigued about. And I'm tired of my computer not wanting to work with me here. It all wants to act up. I don't know why it's going like that. Anyway, I don't really care about my computer. I got what I needed to do. All right. By the way, do you like the game Titanic VR where you explore the raft? Are you talking about Titanic Honor and Glory? If that's what I think you're talking about. Or is it a different game that I'm not aware of? Because Titanic Honor and Glory is by far my favorite Titanic knowledgeable, or favorite Titanic digital like capture device in a way that has Titanic on it. If you can get it. My question though for you guys, now, Titanic VR is a game of like exploring the Earth. Oh yeah, I remember that. I actually have never played that. I have seen it, but I have never played it or did anything like that or involved the game. Would you guys be interested in seeing all of the pieces and stuff that I have prepared for this upcoming Titanic though? Would anyone be interested in seeing that? Because I really kind of am excited to show you guys exactly what I have coming in for it. Because there's a lot of cool things I have coming into it. Yeah, but I can show you exactly where it would be at and what it would look like. Because it's definitely going to be a lot of fun building. And I still haven't quite figured out where I exactly want to build it. If I want to put it over there, over here, where exactly I want to put it. Where exactly I'm going to start the project. Because there's so much to start. There's so much of Titanic to build. There's so much passion for Titanic that it's kind of hard to figure out where to start. But yeah, A deck was beautiful because it had the main dome above it. It was, but you could see that dome all the way from C deck. You could see it from B deck. You could see it from D. You could see the dome even from E deck, to be honest. And, well, yeah, technically you can see it from F deck too. Not the entire thing, but you can definitely see the dome. So that's the beauty that I like about it, is not the fact that you can't just see it on one deck. You can see the dome from any deck pretty much, other than G deck. But even F deck, like I said, you can see it. And you're not going to get the full glimpse of the dome. You're going to still get a good chunk of the dome, which is very fascinating that they were even able to figure that out. The way that they had the railings and the way that they had everything. That's kind of fascinating in my opinion. Because that's more than cool. But I'm going to take you guys over to the room next door to me, which is where the Titanic is going to be attempted to build. I don't know if it's going to be built there or not. It might be built in here because there's just better. I have my computers and everything set up in here. That's probably where I'm going to build it. But yeah. Also amazes me how well preserved the Turkish baths are. Oh yeah, by far. Probably one of the most beautiful rooms in Titanic still. I don't even know how it's able to continue the amount of beautiful, how the fact that the tile work and all this stuff in Titanic even was managed to even stay on it is fascinating in itself. But let me take you over to that area quick here. Let's go take a little journey here. It's definitely going to get dark for a second. I lose my cats, I'll get them there. But yeah, here's the other room. Let's see here. All right. This is where the dreams will become the realities. So here is my plan. We have a lot of space here in this room here. And again, I'm not for sure about if it's going to be in this room yet or not, or exactly how I want to do it. But I definitely have a lot of plans for it. By the way, cat number 1 has already arrived in here and won't be quiet. So in here, we're going to be putting all of my sets and stuff that I'm not going to be using on this wall right here. Actually, it'd be right on this wall. Sorry, my mistake. And then what will happen is all the pieces will be going on this wall, and I'll fill up this wall here. And here will be the entire Titanic in itself. This is where I'll build Titanic. This is where Titanic will be put together, every piece by piece. And of course, the window will be blocked because obviously I don't want a window with natural light in it. That'd be a disaster waiting to happen. We'd have a lot of yellow pieces that are not going to be in a good situation. But yeah, this is where it'd be at here. Best wishes for your dream to come true. The success in life. You have a bright future. I know the Titanic very well at this point. But yeah, this is exactly, again, where Titanic's going to be built. So again, these pieces right here, by the way, like I said, I got a bunch of pieces that are ready to be started, ready to be built. And my cat just really wants attention right now. This desk will go probably in one area around here that I'll use to kind of design Titanic. I'll put the blueprints on it as well to figure out exactly how I want to do it. But this is where all my pieces are. This is the start of it, at least. Because I have more than just this. But this is where most of them are at. I have several thousands of pieces in here. By the way, down there, I have what remainder of Brick Road Chicago Titanic I had. But yeah, right here is where all my pieces are at. And most of these are all full. I just had to use a lot of this stuff for Brick Road Chicago. So, by far, something that'll be very excited to see. Let's see here. So yeah, there'll be that bag there. And then there'll be, all these will be gone. We have this tub here that'll have a bunch of pieces. And just a bunch of miscellaneous small pieces as well. Let's see here. Down in here, we'll have a bunch more pieces as well, along with just nets. I'm going to use a lot of those nets, actually, for a lot of things in Titanic that are going to have structure related to keep it like steady and safe. I already had someone help me out with this. So he already gave me the first package right here of Lego that will be used to help build Titanic that I'm actually teaming up with. And he's going to help me build this in a way. And he also gave me a free Star Wars pack too. You know, this is kind of cool, actually. Not going to lie. I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to figure out what that meant eventually. My cat just does not want to stop with attention. And let's see here. So down over here again, at the bottom are more of these cylinder pieces, which I'll use for a lot of things. My cat does not want to stop. And then the plates will be used. The plates will be used at the harbor. So the harbor will be put right here as I build it. And then as I build it, you guys will start seeing me use a lot of those black pieces to kind of wrap all around this area. And then Titanic will be put in the middle of that. And then as for the rest of the decks, or as for the rest of the area, I'll probably have more of the blueprints right in around here because I'm going to be using a lot of blueprints and I have to design Titanic perfectly, or not perfectly, but exactly how I need it to go because every piece in Titanic counts and we all know how that's going to go. So, and then I would suppose over here with these pieces right here are going to be for the table. So we'll be using that for the table. And like I said, the rest of the stuff will be put on the wall here. So that'll make things super, super interesting to see how that'll be put together. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what this stands like right now. I'll kind of go back into the other room here. Because I don't really have much more in this room to kind of even show you guys. I've been researching Titanic and studying the ship since I was a child. Same with me. It's Titanic. It's history. Cannot have Titanic not be the center of our lives a lot, in a way, if I want to say it that way. But yeah, this is what it is. So all the rest of these boxes here are just prior Lego that I want to get rid of probably, or that'll be going eventually. Yeah. So let's take this back to the room here. Let's see. Otherwise my cats will be in here and they'll be bugging all over the place. It's like cat valley in there. I have only 2 cats, but man, do they really want attention. All right. There. Okay. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what your guys' favorite deck is on Titanic, because I just posted that poll. So make sure you take a look at the poll and make sure you figure out which room you guys want. Which deck is your favorite? Because whatever deck, maybe not this one because it's a little late this stream, but whatever deck I use next stream will be the first deck that I will build. Because you guys obviously are gonna like that deck the most. So make sure you vote, because that's how you're gonna figure out what your favorite deck is, or what the best deck on Titanic for you guys. What's your opinion is? And also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed, because that's how you guys are going to be able to see this dream of not of just mine come true, but you guys are going to see everything in Titanic. Like, if you guys love Titanic, definitely make sure to be on the lookout, because it's going to be coming. I'm going to be building something that is going to be the size of this room. I can't even show you how big it is, because it's just going to be bigger than this room. It's going to be epic. It's going to be an amazing build that will take 3 years, exactly how long Titanic will take, but 3 years that are going to be very well spent, and 3 years that are going to have just a ton of videos and live streams and just engaging with you guys, because I really want to engage. I want to show you guys exactly what Titanic's about. It's more than just history at this point now. It's the beauty of Titanic. It's the luxuriousness of Titanic. I still think Titanic is more luxurious than today's cruise ships. Let's be honest, they're pretty garbage in my opinion. I'm not a fan of today's cruise ships, if you guys haven't realized that. That's just me. Now, would I take a cruise any day of my life? I mean, yes. It's on the water. I love the ocean. But by far, is it gonna be better than Titanic? No. Like, you ain't gonna get me to vote for a cruise ship being better than Titanic. By far, no. So, what do we got for vote-wise? Let's see. So we got D-Deck. Just come on, one D-Deck vote? Come on, someone's gotta be out there. Someone's gotta vote for another deck. Obviously, we can't just have one deck. There's gotta be someone out there that really wants more than just Titanic's D-Deck. Not that D-Deck's bad, it is my favorite poll, or my favorite deck too. Someone's gotta be able to want more than just that. So that'll be very interested to see how this poll will go. And actually, I'm gonna do this in my community poll as well, so you guys will be able to pick in my community poll, figuring out which one is your guys' favorite deck and which one you guys are more interested in seeing me build first. Because again, you guys will be able to ultimately pick which one is your favorite deck, and I will build it first. Well, not build it first, but I will decorate it first. Obviously, I can't skip over C deck, for example, because C deck's your favorite deck, and then you guys want A and B deck not to be built. It makes no sense. You can't do it that way. So, all right. I love Titanic. I always love Titanic. It's been studying a ship half of my life, pretty much. Well, I've been studying that ship for half of my life. Yeah. My least favorite deck would probably be F deck. Really? I think C deck is still my least favorite deck. I think F deck actually has more than C deck in my opinion. Because F deck leads into the Turkish baths. F deck leads into the swimming pool. I think it's better than C deck. C deck only has the purser's quarters or office or area. I'm very intrigued on why you even picked F deck as your least favorite. I don't know. I think it'd be my second least favorite, but it's definitely not my least. By far, C deck is going to be, in my opinion. That's just me. But anyway, we will have another live stream coming up this weekend as well, and I'm actually working on a video as well. So I am going to end it here. We have been going for a little while. Next live stream, though, I'm going to show you a lot more of what I've been talking about. A lot more in the rooms. I'm going to show you designs of the rooms and exactly how I want to use it. So make sure you guys, again, stay tuned. Again, if you have not subscribed, if you haven't liked this live stream, make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe to the live stream, or the channel, not the live stream. And then also consider just diving more into Titanic like I am, because Titanic is more than just a ship. It's history, it's luxuriousness, it's everything. But again, I'm always gonna love and adore Titanic, just like me. So thank you guys again. And yeah, hands down, you guys have a great rest of your day or evening or afternoon. And I will see you guys in the next live stream later on this week about Titanic. So, all right.